We're going to look at a very large bird. I think this is the epicenter of Darwin, or as they say, Darren. Yep. That's a bird. That's a bird. Teenagers everywhere. So, we're in Darwin. Charles is in Darwin. It's a town, kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's not too far from Blackburn, although they don't like to be called Blackburnians. Here in their local dialect, they don't call it Darwin, they call it Darren. Like the bloke, Darren, who borrowed your Game Boy and never gave it back. Back of the market. Nice 1970s, 60s. It's not very often you get a nighttime video on my channel. I'm more of a daytime kind of guy. Not very nocturnal these days, but now and again you gotta scratch that itch, you know, around Halloween time. You gotta come out and see if it's any scarier. See what the nighttime scene's like. Oh, I hear some crackies in the distance. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna kick off. Now, first impressions in Darwin. Pretty grim. I know, of course, it's not the fault of the people that live here. So if you're from Darwin and you're watching this, you know, fair play to you. Could be worse, I guess. Roaming gangs of teenagers there. Police car, look. There's something going on. Youth zone. Seems to be a bit of a party going on in there. But more interested in what the police car did. Those kids were... something was going on. You can't see it, but that... oh, can you? You can see it. It's Jupiter. Hello, Jupiter. Big boy. I stumbled across a graveyard full of little lights. I'll see if I can get a good shot for you guys. Like, no disrespect here to the dead. Like, let's see. What is it? It's like angels. It's so creepy. I wish you could see the graves all around me. Some of them are very ornate. Very, very ornate. Gotta be so careful with my step in the dark. My God. Absolute heebie-jeebies going on here, guys, as well. At least I'm near a main road. Did not expect this. WTF, bro. Wind chimes? That's a sign. It's been quiet the whole time I've been filming, and then I come and film here. I feel it. I feel it. Right. Let's make our way peacefully out of here. Jeez, man. Very, very eerie feeling. It's quite big. It goes on for ages, you can't see. Man. There's a reason I don't come out at night, man. Good morning from Darwin itself. We're on the outskirts on the southern approach. We begin with the autumnal step with orange and red and yellow leaves with the drippy coming down because it is wetter than a swim in a cold bath. That's the best I could do. It is wetter than a duck's anus who's been away from a pond. All right, we'll give up before we begin. So, Blackburn with Darwen Council. Now, 10 points for having the transparent bus thing that you can see the clouds behind. And we begin today with obviously a bit of architecture, but we begin with India Mill. India Mill, we need to check it out. India Mill. I think it's expensive apartments now. But we'll begin with a bit of civility before we descend deep into scary Darwin proper. Just so I don't forget, I'm parked on Radford Street. Okay, camera? Radford Street. Look at the base of that chimney. Chimneylicious. Baptist Chapel is unfortunately abandoned. Such perfect real estate. Such a stunning property. And abandoned. As you guys know, because I mentioned it. Or did I? Or did I dream it? I'll mention it again. The population of Darwin is collapsing from about 50,000 at the start of the 20th century to about 40,000 at the end of the 20th century, and from 2001 until 2011 it went down to about 37,000. So they lost 10% population in 10 years, which is quite a big thing. Right, India Mill. Here we come. India Mill, established 1867. Let's check it. Okay, Jesse's off to cook some glass. Go on, Jesse. Heisenberg's watching. It's fine. Here we are. Camera's doing a bit better. The daylight is slowly peeping through. It's about 8:20 a.m. Some loud machines on the side of the mill. And we're not on ground level. As you can see, we're quite high up. About 5 stories up. We're on the car park. And the mill is milling. Let's go have a look at the entrance. Before we go to the entrance, we're just looking over central Darwin now. Where is it? Where's the clock tower? All along the watchtower. I was parked next to that clock tower when the CCTV and the aggressive cracky teenagers noticed me. And it's just lucky my car wasn't stoned or bricked, but we made it out. Okay. So far, so beautiful. Mr. Bentley man struggling to park. Poor Bentley. And yeah, if you have a look, it looks lovely. There's a man in the window looking good. An English listed building. Very nice. When you hear the rain, the pitter-patter, that's the official scientific term for that sound that you hear on my umbrella. And I brought my smaller umbrella today with the theory that I would put it inside my backpack because it would dry up. And it's not drying up. And yeah, enough of this mill. Let's go back to the city, not city, the small town that is Darwin. Let's go see the evolution of the hominids in Darwin. Named Charles, let's go do it. Okay, on our way into central Darwin, a land where evolution forgot. No, I've come across this contraption. I don't know if it's in its original colors. I think it's been painted, but what is this a peasant whipper 9000? Do you insert one peasant into each of these little things, and then you turn the big cog, you spin it with that big handle over there, and it whips the peasants. So whenever they get a bit too uppity, a bit too bullshy, the elites can bring in their big machines No wonder the Luddites got upset. This is what they were up to. Whipping peasantry. Time to enroll in Blackburn College. It's time. And she's studying something skeletal. That is a skeleton. Who would have thought that here in sleepy Darwin, with the scary Lancashire police, they would have an aerospace company. I'm here on the main road, and I'm like, wow. Brookhouse Aerospace. What are they designing? Street. And just to prove to my viewers, we are on the A666 from my flat all the way to Blackburn, probably and beyond. The road of the beast. And yeah, we're getting closer now. It's not very big, this town. And it's shrinking every day. Probably another 50 people decide to abandon it, saying, fuck this place! Too many inbreds! Darwin's theory of evolution was correct! Get me away from these genetic mutants! A beautiful sign of the moral decay of our great green and pleasant land. Here in the main church in the center of Darwin, evolution has taken hold. It's abandoned. And the Holy Trinity is now 3 wheelie bins. There you go. There's your Trinity. It's all over. It's ogre. Totally ogre. Church is on Belgrave Road. We'll have a quick look at the front, and then I want to show you the most impressive barbershop I have ever seen in my life. See, Darwin's good for something, but we need a bit of abandoned holy building first. So this is literally the dead center of Darwin, and a big sign saying dog walkers pick up the shit or it'll make that child go blind. Okay, totally abandoned, 100% abandoned, because nobody wants to pray anymore. But it's bigger than that. I think, yeah, we might as well start planting seeds now. I think Europe is beginning a very, very long and arduous de-Abrahamification process. Now, you see the signs. It begins with the most powerful country in Europe and one of the most powerful countries in the world, still the holder of the most powerful empire the planet has ever seen. It made the Roman and the Mongol ones seem meh. The British Empire was where it was at. Part of the conquest of the British was obviously India, the jewel in the crown. It created that synthesis, the East India Company, which was the most powerful private military organization on earth. It even rivaled the British state in terms of power. And we now have a Hindu pagan prime minister, Rishi Sunak. And check this out, this here, let's go wide angle, is the coolest looking barbershop. Oh no, it's gone bust. No! No, town barber, don't go bust. Don't do it. You're an amazing little gatehouse. And oh look, the female version, Herkutzen with the 2 blonde Germanics. Herkutzen, silver lion, foot on the world. The British lion has conquered the globe. Check out this corporate fake graffiti. CP Company. Adidas Special. Now, Adidas, very famously, very well known now in the mainstream, has just dumped Kanye West for his hateful bigotry. Their words. Now, I always laugh with young men or men who aren't so young, trying to look hard and tough and like, not smiling. I'm a hard man. Smiling's for wimps. Oh, it feels weird to be back here literally 12 hours after I left. So I assume that's the town hall over there. It's got a very town hall vibe. And I was filming the big bird down there. Big bird. And let me just get past these locals before I start ranting. The Bank, it's called, that bar. So the teenagers were hanging out down there, they were over there, and my fatal mistake when I arrived. I parked where that white Toyota Corolla is, and it's 1 hour free parking, and it was directly underneath this camera. And I don't know if the camera was monitoring the teenagers that were getting some, I don't know, abuse from the police, or vice versa. They were giving the police some abuse. And then me filming the teenagers, the camera suddenly became very interested in me. And I realized how exposed I was. We are in Lancashire after all. There is a crackhead, feral hominid teenager and police partnership to fight any non-local yokel, basically. At least it stopped raining. So my fatal mistake was to have my car exposed with all the chavs and the inbreds, the teenagers, seeing me come out of it. And then when the CCTV started following me, I was like, not a happy bunny, because I have embarrassed Lancashire police, the Burnley version of them anyway, quite a lot, showing them to be idiot, scumbag, authoritarian, issuing fine happy dimwits, and so they could get their revenge on me somehow. And that is very sad. I mean, I'll tell you one thing first that's sad, is that the nicest building, built in AD 1865, the nicest building in central Darwin, is a cheap boozer, J.D. Weatherspoon's free house. Always fun. It is sad that in the year, as I was saying, in the year 2022, a law-abiding video maker can feel scared that the police are not going to uphold his rights, support him, allow him to carry on with legal interactions, not just with the architecture but with the people. And I basically got detained and fined and treated like a hobo for arguing with a crackhead. Right, let's get a bit more. So it was right here where those dirty teenagers started, I don't know what they were doing. When you look at the footage, are they humping the ladies' police car? Are they trying to fornicate the car? It looks like it. Check this out. This is the inside of the Weatherspoons. Nicest building in Darwin. Just get a £5 breakfast.
CP thing there, that's amazing. And
oh yeah. So you were telling me a story about the Member of Parliament, Jake Berry. Please continue. Please tell me that story.
Oh, he's a bit of a, well, I think he's a bit of a snake. Just said, we've had conversations with him. We mentioned about our great uncles and stuff fighting in war for the sovereignty of our country.
Yeah.
And this guy, with that Priti Patel at the time, were just letting folk come across the channel, and they didn't seem to give a damn. And we pointed that out to Jake, and the very next day,
yeah,
I think there was a boatload. I think there were 13 people drowned.
Yeah.
And you know, that's on his fucking head.
Yeah. And what was the story you were telling me about the army parade? And then
he's not shy of. He likes to get his photograph taken. Does Jake? He'll turn up for a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And well, anyway, that's my thoughts on the guy. And we have a beautiful town here.
Yeah.
Taking that vista. Look at that.
That is a hell of a view. We're down in the valley. Where's the river? Well, there must be a river around here somewhere.
Sure, yeah, that's just the right hand side.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
We've got a tremendous history in this town.
Yeah.
And everybody, please come to Darwin. It's wonderful.
Now I have to ask you, because I did my research before I came, why is the population of Darwin going down so quickly?
Do you know, I didn't realise that was happening. I've only got positive things to say, like, you know, that the town's coming alive. So for you to tell me that, I wasn't. Yeah,
I'll tell you the stats I saw in the 2001 census. There was 40,000 people. In the 2011 census, it had gone down to 36,000 people.
Maybe we've whittled out some of the dead wood. I don't know.
Maybe they've passed away. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. What's your first name? Just your first name.
Steve.
Steve. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much to Steve, a Darwin local, or as they would call it, the Darren. They call it Darren. You're a Darrener if you're from Darwin. And Steve told me a little bit, and fantastic news. There was every year, Darwin has a big music festival here in the square. And funnily enough, some trivia, one of my friends, a rock and roll guy called Lee, he has performed in the Darwin Festival. I've seen him on stage, and I edited a documentary for him about his art and music career. Brilliant. The sun's going to come out soon. It's going to happen. I'm feeling positive. It's always nice after chatting to a local. It gives it a bit more context. And it's nice to know that even in Darren, or the way I would say it is Charles, Darwin, I have viewers. There's the Darwin Heritage Centre. And I found Bates Motel, guys. Look. Hitchcock's, it's Bates Motel. Love it. Right, I need some breakfast. And I didn't fancy sitting in Wetherspoons for half an hour for a, you know, albeit nice, cheap breakfast. So many really old buildings here in the UK. Fabulous. Let's go wide angle, give you some context, and we'll have a bit more detail. We'll take a little bit more of a detailed look, shall I say, at Asque Labore Ahore, commenced 1880, completed 1882, Snape Mayor, Green Mayor. Love it. And there's some sort of weird symbol with wings because oh shit, no, wrong way, go 10 times zoom. Oh yeah. And we've just, obviously, the town hall is a market. Look at this. What is going on? Did not expect this. Look at the ceiling. Yes. I don't think it was a town hall. I think it's always been a market. Blue sky comes, and a staple of the British man's diet. I'm gonna have a bacon and sausage roll with brown sauce and a coffee. But before I do admire a town that has a lovely post office. Lee, which is not as bad as you think, also has a very nice post office. And it is reassuring. And the sun is peaking. It is trying. Another abandoned, beautiful classical building, probably listed, and this one is a former bank. Look at that guy. Zone where they were having a bit of a boogie party last night. They have a radio station here called Diverse Radio, which has triggered my anti-woke sentiments. It was 16 degrees earlier. It's gone cold. It's like 11 degrees now. Now, postman, why do postmen always wear shorts in cold weather?
Because we're stupid.
No, no self-dep. That's too humble. It's because you guys are always getting in and out of the van and it gets sweat.
Yeah, we don't like to get our legs wet.
You don't like sweaty balls, do you?
No, exactly.
No, exactly.
Like that.
Thank you very much. The channel is cveitch on YouTube.
Excellent.
Cheers, mate. Take care. Show you guys some interesting blackboard chalking. What? Okay. All right. Well, made me give them a free plug. And what is a giant phallus except a very potent fertility symbol, after all? Be ready for the most beautiful corporate roundabout art I've probably seen in my life, and it has nice historical significance. And just look at it in its shiny chrome against that sky. It is, of course, the British Spitfire, one of the planes that helped win the Battle of Britain, and of course World War II. There's of course an amazing story behind this beautiful, shiny memorial. So, I'm not going to read it all, I'll paraphrase. It's incredible. In the start of the war, in September 1940, the locals here put together all their money for 5,707, and what they did, they actually bought a Spitfire for the Royal Air Force, and it saw a considerable amount of action during its service before it went missing on the 14th of July 1941 during a bomber escort operation in the north of France. So Fence Boy's not done so well. Look at this. Just imagine the forces to do that. But what I did like is these little tower things. I think that's what's up on the hill that we filmed earlier. Look how ornate it is. How lovely. And guess who's come out? Our boy Helios. He's there. Cells within cells, interlinked. So, ladies and gents, 9 Alexandra Road, Darwen. Doesn't look too bad. I'm sure it's a fixer-upper. But 3 bedrooms for less than £100,000. Now that is good value. I should buy it. I almost didn't see him there with that camouflage motorbike. He blended in too well. Best name for a drinking establishment that you'll ever have. Okay, let's look down the street. There's the street. There's the street. And here you've got the bird inth hand. Bird inth the hand. Bird inth the hand. Bird inth the hand. And that's a scary looking bird in his hand. Inth apostrophe hand. Bird inth. Found a relic. Not just the payphone, which is kind of still working. Yeah, that still has a ringtone. Not the payphone, but the ancient corporate BT payphone art. Look at that, when they were still competing against mobile phones. Look at this guy. He's on his phone, free with every mobile, as much noise as you want. And that's incredible to me that BT was competing against mobile phones. I wonder who won. Bit of wide angle down the main shopping pedestrian street. Pretty standard. Just get a bit of a jogging man. Jogging man's always nice kino footage. Hypno Psycho the Rapist. I mean psychotherapist. And let's just have a look at the building. Fight the power. Oh, it was a train. It was a train. I heard a mighty roar and I thought I'll catch this vehicle coming down Higher South Street. Again, very nice little streets here. I'd live in one of these houses. Very peaceful. And look at this corner. Let's get you some. Oh yeah, look at that. And we look down South Street, cobbled and lovely, with a little dome at the end. Okay, this one's worth a wide angle, and it's brightening up. Just want to see what the dome looks like on the inside. Switching to wide angle now. Oh yeah, glad I did. Look at the sediment in the river. Usually, rivers here in England are clear, but not today. The art school. And vying for the award of the ugliest building in all of Darwen is the police station. What are these called? Breeze blocks. Look at this, it's just exposed breeze block. Looks like a prison, which is no irony, as there is actually, there are, plural, police cells, jail cells in there. And what's always funny is the, oh, not the old sign, that's not funny. But the sin bin, the amnesty bin for knives. So again, giving criminals, junkies, crackheads, murderers a perfect excuse for getting caught, a reasonable excuse. Oh, you've been caught in Darwen with a massive blade, a machete. Well, I was on my way to do my duty and drop it off, innit? Ladies and gents, I present you Darwen.